I'm Michelle.
And I'm Katherine.
And we're here at the Healthy Hurried Human podcast,
where we talk about keeping pace in a world that never slows down. Welcome back to the Healthy Hurried Human podcast. Happy to have you here.
You're Katherine.
I'm Katherine.
And I'm Michelle. We're glad you're here.
We're happy to be here.
All right. So today I'm kicking us off on, we've got a question it's kind of a proverbial question. Are the people that you work with, that work for you, are they difficult or are they overloaded?
Sorry. I'm stuck on proverbial
question. So this comes up.
That's the right word.
But you know, Katherine, that I talk to plenty of executives on a weekly basis. And oftentimes when I'm here, and I had two this past week who are, I don't know if it's the time of year, we're at the end of the year. And people are
recording this podcast at the end of the year.
Yeah.
This calendar year.
So, the end of the calendar year, I've seen two different mindsets. There's the mindset of let's kick it down the road. What can I get off my plate and literally just think about in January? Or there's the pressure of there's so much to tie in, the loose ends to tie up for finishing the year out well, or just in the clear, or meeting your goals and that kind of stuff. So the pressure is definitely on, not just for your leaders and your managers and your executives, but for everyone in the workplace. And so I oftentimes, when I'm listening to a manager or a leader, an executive leader, which this past week I was talking with two different ones, and they're sharing, I have this employee, I find them difficult. They're not meeting the metrics that I set out for them. I'm wondering if I've put them in the wrong place. They've got this, all of this experience, and yet they're not, compliant to the thing. I'm hearing these things, and this, oftentimes quietly, my first thought is, how are you to work for? What are you like as a boss, as a manager? Could I often put myself in there, like, I wonder how I would do working for you. Because I don't know that many leaders are actually thinking about, oftentimes it's an easy, low-hanging fruit for leadership, a manager, executives, whatever, to go to, well, they're difficult, or they're problematic, or they don't want to do the job, when I don't know if it's oftentimes, I don't know what the science would be behind this, but I wonder, I don't know, is it more that the workers or the people that are reporting to you are overloaded? The emotional pressure, the mental pressure of the job, is it getting too much? Are we at a time of year where it's too much? I mean, we see the CPAs will lean into this during February to June because of tax season, and they understand that pressure. So I often wonder, are we thinking about what's going on besides just what we see at the surface of a job, of an employee just not doing their work or meeting their metrics? Is there more to it? That's kind of our conversation this morning.
Okay. You mentioned 4 things. So, number 1, is it a manager issue? Mm-hmm. Number 2, is it a personal pressure issue outside of work? Number 3, is it this time of year? Some companies, this is the end of their fiscal year. They're all of a sudden, their metrics, their goals, their performance, sometimes their performance reviews are now coming up, and they are being held, right? I mean, you've got performance evaluations if they're not meeting their metrics. And then there's the pressure of the season, not just in the business end of year, but also in our culture in America, it's fourth quarter, high pressure, high sales, but also holidays, lots of major holidays, expenses, money. Will I get a Christmas bonus or an end of the year bonus? Yeah. There's a lot of things that are wrapping up and getting prepared for new beginnings, and board meetings. And for leadership, you've got board meeting expectations that are happening this month. You've got bonus payouts. You've got, you're wanting to start the next calendar year, the fiscal year, right. Or if you have a September 30, October 1st fiscal calendar, you're just clearing first quarter. This month is usually a quarterly month. So they're quarter pressures. Mm-hmm. And I think that, well, what do you think about this? That for everyone, when there's societal pressure, like what we have in the month of that we're recording this in the month of December. In the month of December, there's societal pressure that bleeds down at every level. The CEO is feeling it. The middle managers are feeling it. The workforce is feeling it at every layer. So how does that show up into work? It's going to. Everyone right now is under pressure. Everyone is under pressure. So not only is it just a one-off, one-time individual, but it's the managers are feeling the pressure too.
Well, you use the word bleeding off. And that's sometimes I scratch my head because I think we all know that work bleeds into personal life. And it has been for at least the last decade and a half. With our smart devices, the fact that we can have our computers in our back pocket or in our purse, we can get a hold of our emails, sitting in traffic. It wouldn't be a stretch for everyone to be in acknowledgement that, yeah, work bleeds into our life, our personal life, whatever we're doing. But it seems like we don't really give acknowledgement to the fact that life bleeds into work. And that's me, that's always been sort of my focus, is that we're not paying enough attention and what you just said, all the things you just said that is going on with work this time of year, where December falls, whether it's the end of their first quarter or it's the end of their year, wherever December falls in an organization, and all of the things, the stakeholders don't even get me started on the yearly reviews that happen this time of year. But we don't think about how life is bleeding into work and creating extra pressure.
I think this time of year, life bleeding into work hits everyone at the same time, and that's not like the other months. Mm-hmm. The other months, it's individuals where life is putting pressure on them. But fourth quarter or first quarter, there is a massive pressure, and it's coming to end of quarter, that we've got societal norms and nuances of it just being the month of December that is putting pressure on everybody financially. End of month giving. Every charity in the world wants you to end of year giving, putting pressure on there. You've got to prepare your personal taxes come January. You're trying to decide, am I putting money in a Roth this year? Am I putting, all of these things have to be done by a certain time period. A lot of decisions have to be made. We have to make healthcare decisions about the next year, and healthcare prices have gone up. There's so much financial pressure this time of year across the board, and at every level is feeling it. And that is what makes it unique, because they're not feeling it the same way the rest of the year.
And I think this episode of the Healthy Hurried Human podcast is sponsored by Midlife Thrives. Midlife Thrives is for women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s navigating perimenopause and menopause. If you've felt the energy dips, the mood swings, or the brain fog that make you wonder if you're losing yourself, you're not alone. Midlife Thrives is here to help give you clarity, resources, and a supportive circle of women who get it. No quick fixes, no shame, just some real guidance for real life. Learn more and connect at midlifethrives.com, because thriving in midlife isn't optional, it's your new standard.
Plus, you're having to get together with family and people that you don't always spend time with, that can add another dynamic to
Yeah,
it.
that adds a whole nother layer to it. There's a reason why therapy offices are in high demand in December.
Well, let me throw this also out there that that I've noticed is that the question begins to arise about bonuses. Am I getting a bonus this year? Did my company make, like, this is the quarter we announce how much money, or if there's going to be a holiday bonus or an end of year bonus. And it's sometimes very nuanced. You don't know if you're getting it or not. It's when your projects are evaluated to see if you made enough for that. But also, is the company in good financial standing where they're going to give us a gift? Am I going to get a Christmas gift, like the Christmas ham or the Christmas turkeys that companies used to give out? And a lot of times people depend on that. They need to know, will I have that? Will I get that bonus? If some people who are living paycheck to paycheck, or some people who that's just been part of their personal finances that they factor in, and it's a mystery, and it is.
So what this causes for people is the
tension.
Is to create. So you have different responses to this. You have a larger group. The majority response to this is to avoid and to withdraw. I just was having a conversation with someone a couple of days ago who was saying to me, sharing that this time of year creates so much pressure in all the areas for them that they literally just want to go hide it. That oftentimes is the response, is I want to check out. I want to tap out on all of it.
Well, I will say that another one of the responses is a lot of gossip around the company. There's a lot of comparison that goes on. There's a lot of gossiping in the restroom or gossiping down in the break rooms. Are we going to get our money? Who knows we're getting money? Who's giving a check? Did they earn their bonus? There's a lot of speculation, and it can cause a lot of
resentment.
And also, it's not positive culture building morale. And, if you're having a end of the year party, or if there are things that are gifts that are given or different things like that, there's a lot of speculation, and it can cause, let's say communication isn't a strong suit in your company. Well, this time of year with the extra pressures that are going on and everyone's feeling it, everyone starts talking about it. They start talking about the lack of communication because right now they really need to know. And there's those little tiny conversations that kind of breed non-cultural, like things that are countercultural to what you want when it's team building. So that's one of the ways that I see the outside pressures coming in that really become apparent during this season right now. And it's almost like the bubble will pop once they make the decision and they start communicating. When leadership starts communicating as soon as they can this season, here's what you're going to get, here's what we can give you, here's when the timeline will be, here's what and here's when the party is, here's what we're doing for the party, here's what you're going to get as a gift, here's the game exchange or whatever is going to happen, if you play a party game. The sooner that can happen, are they going to take us out to a nice restaurant? Like, how much money are they going to spend? Like, are we going to feel good? Am I going to be able to get my work done? As soon as all these questions can get answered, the bubble pops and it goes back to normal.
It does. I would say I have one caution for organizations, if they happen to be listening to us, is this is not the time of year to make any sweeping changes that are unnecessary. There's some companies that I'm involved in right now who are making major, the changes aren't going to come to fruition until January 1st, but they waited this long in the year. I think they've known 6 months at least that they were making these, instead of announcing them probably in the fall or late summer. Hey, this is where we're heading. I don't think this is the time of year to make that announcement.
Why are they making it? Is it because the start of the fiscal year they need to start with a quote unquote clean slate with these initiatives, or because it is very, well, it's a kick in the teeth to lose your job at Christmas.
It's a real, it's not, they're not laying people off. We're waiting till the end of November to tell you that, hey, January 1, everybody comes back to the office. That's been hybrid, that's had these different, and not really giving much. I don't know if organizations,
We've seen this though, Michelle. We keep seeing this happening, and they're waiting until the last minute to tell people because they're afraid of backlash. But the problem is that they're not giving their employees enough time to take care of childcare,
That's right.
elder care. So they're making the problem 10 times worse.
That's right.
Some people don't have work clothes. I know a lot of people, I know friends of mine who said, I have to go buy wardrobe because I haven't been working in an office for 5 years.
Yeah.
And frustration because we've already proven we can do it.
So we're in agreement that this, with my caution of this is not that you don't wait till November to make decisions or sweeping changes that are going to have great impact on your employees 6 weeks away from when you want to implement these changes. So that to me, again, scratch my head because I'm like, why would you do that? Part of me thinks they're doing that out of fear, like you said, because if we say this in late summer, early fall, we could lose people, and I don't know why they're doing it. I do think it's driven by fear, but I think that is just another message that you send to employees that you don't really have their best interest in mind. As an employee, like you just said, whether I've got to do elder care, child care, I need a wardrobe, I need to redo my finances to work around going back into an office. When you tell me that, I don't feel like you've taken me into consideration in that decision or the time length that you're giving me to adjust to it.
And traffic on the roads too, like the impact that everyone coming back into the office that has had on traffic, car, tires, like
everything.
It is grocery stores, schedules, food, eating, like restaurants. I mean, it's a lot of things have changed. A lot of restaurants that used to be there aren't there anymore. Mm-hmm. We're talking. So everybody listening knows what all these nuances are. I mean, it's a big deal. Problem. So I know that we're running out of time, but I know that you're talking to executives. What do we say to the workers that they don't have a choice? They have to show back up, and here they've got all these stressors. Like, yes, we'd like the executives not to make this decision in fourth quarter or first quarter, whichever one it falls for you. But what do we say to our listeners who they're the ones who still have to show up January 7th or 3rd back in the office, bright and shiny, or have to come in? What do we say to them?
I would say if I had someone, sitting with me on a one-to-one, I would say you've got to get real clear on what your priorities are for your life that are going to bring peace, satisfaction, and give you the ability to be generous. And I don't mean generous with money, but generous with your time. We are, as human beings, we work best when we leave room for generosity, meaning we have time for ourselves to be hospitable, to volunteer, to have people over in our home, to coach on a kids' baseball team. So when I use that word generosity, I mean that place where we get our most fulfillment as a human being when we are involved in our community in some way where we are giving of our time, our resources, our abilities. We have to leave time for that. And so I believe that as the worker, if you have these major changes, you've got to sit down and look at your whole life. We have a great tool for that, a wheel, to look at every area of your life and decide what is the most crucial and important aspects of my life. You can't make it, I would say don't make any sweeping changes, but you get real clear on that. And then it may be clear in March that maybe this isn't the job for me and I need to start looking if the job market allows. Or you say, I got to keep this job, but maybe I have to let go of something where I do a lot of generosity. you have to get real clear on what are your priorities and what's going to give you that satisfaction.
I would like to give a shout out to my mother and her obsessive love with newspapers. She would like me to tell you that I come from a long line of that my great grandfather started the newspaper in his small town, and she's very proud of that. So she believes we should all be in print and in newspapers. But her love for a newspaper, and recently. 2 weekends ago, Wall Street Journal put an article about called "Don't Be Shy, Gratitude is Good for You," and my mother looked me dead in the eye and said, "Did you know that they've done a study and that's proven that the difference that gratitude makes for you?" And I just thought, what? Really? But as recently as November 29th and 30th edition of the Wall Street Journal, they are once again emphasizing gratitude. I get it. It's Thanksgiving. It's wonderful. But shout out to Michelle, who is not promoting this, but she has a journal that is, I would also say, if you're going back into the workplace and you want to start something new, you need to get the journal, because this will help you really reset. I was standing in a pharmacy this week and he was talking to me about setting your mind and talking to yourself. And I was like,
oh, this day journal.
Yeah, this day journal is what it's called. You can find it on Amazon. But reticular activating system.
The reticular activating system.
And our brains, and how if you tell and recently on
tired teams don't just need another training. They need transformation. The Healthy Hurried Human Lab helps organizations build emotionally fit, resilient, and connected teams that perform better without burning out. This interactive training goes beyond theory, combining organizational psychology with personal appraisal that helps every participant understand how their mental, emotional, and relational habits show up at work. When people grow, companies thrive. Book your Healthy Hurried Human Lab for your teams today at foxygenconsulting.com and start creating healthier, more human workplace.
This conversation is coming back up again about talking to yourself and telling yourself things, and the importance of
asking yourself the right questions every day, the same ones.
So we're talking empowering questions. We're talking volunteer impact. We're talking,
how do I want to show up today? And it's funny. I did not know that's where this episode would go, but it is interesting that you bring that up, because that would be an excellent tool and resource for anyone to use, because it's a clarity tool.
It's a clarity tool.
And to me, when I want to clap my hands, when we get clarity, we get freedom, and we have a pathway to satisfaction. That's my phrase because when we're feeling angst, or we're feeling frustrated, we're feeling gossipy, when we're feeling all the things that pull us in
we're feeling trapped.
We're feeling captive. We are captive. We are being held captive by those things. And it's if I had a superpower, it would be to help people find their road to what's going to bring satisfaction and freedom to them. Clarity is the road. And so this day journal does provide that, because like the Wall Street Journal is talking about, what others are discussing is that the practice of asking out loud, because there's something connected, that when your brain hears your voice, it almost double times the rewiring. So When you're asking yourself, how do I want to show up today? I know how I'm feeling, but how do I want to show up today? What are the steps I'm going to take?
Huge jump, life-changing for me, like situational changing for me when I get through all the feeling and I get to the place, but how do I want to show up? How do I want people to see me? How do I want to walk back into that office? And when you start there, it's clarity, it's game changing, it sets a path,
and
it's
your
encouraging.
This is the power play, is that your brain starts working, or it feels like your brain starts working for you versus against you. I don't like for people to hear or feel or think that the brain works against you. Your brain doesn't work against you, but your brain has two jobs. It's to make you comfortable and to make you feel safe. So the reason why we feel like it works against us, at times, like staying in bed longer, because we have taught our brain that staying in bed longer, we feel comfortable and we feel safe here. So your brain is working to say, you're right, just stay in bed. You'll be more safe. You'll be more comfortable. And so we think it works against me. It doesn't tell me. But we have wired it to think that. But when we start giving it the different questions, your brain gets in gear and goes, oh, that makes you feel comfortable. That makes you feel safe. It will actually work for you, but you have to give it the stick to chase, is what I always say.
Well, and the best way to do that is using this day journal, because that's literally, it's just a prompt journal. It doesn't take, you do it right when you get up. It only takes 5 to 7 minutes, but it sets that mindset of how do I really want to show up today? And also to encourage you, those conversations in the bathroom with the speculation and the worry with your office BFF, I mean, y'all are in it together, but it just also reinforces the frustration. And so having something like this, while you can be sympathetic and understanding and acknowledge that that is real, having something like this really, it's like with the Enneagram, when you're in a place of integration, you understand what you're feeling. Well, not in a place of integration, let me take that back. But when you recognize, oh, I'm acting exactly like my number, that brings you to a clarity that moves you up to another level of health. So it's the same process of it. Like,
that's right.
Understanding and seeing it for what it is and choosing to say, well, where do I want to go next to fix it?
So I want to end this episode with an encouragement to those of us who are leading or influencing people, teams, organizations, to not be so quick to pass the judgment on to the people that you're leading and working with that they're being difficult, but maybe step back and say, what else is going on? That would be my encouragement.
And also that you're feeling the stress and pressure right now. And it doesn't mean that your people are bad or difficult. You might be in the hot seat right now too.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Healthy Hurried Human podcast. The Healthy Hurried Human podcast is brought to you by Foxygen Consulting and a handful of silent sponsors who believe in this work and quietly keep us going. We see you, we thank you, and we are glad that you're part of this journey.